like this place. It's creepy.
Shh, don't say that.
The past couple of years have seen a lot of great first-person shooters, from Fallout 4 to Far Cry 5 to Wolfenstein: The New Colossus to Doom and so much more. But recently, one game was released that stands out graphically and as a whole. Yes, I am talking about Metro Exodus, a gorgeous game with an awesome story and arguably, most importantly, an insanely immersive experience.
Why is it so deserted here? No gun emplacements, no patrols, not even lookouts. Why would they need any of that? A nuclear warhead couldn't take it out.
So what do I think of Metro Exodus? Well, it was the best game I've played since God of War in 2018. It was nearly a masterpiece. So I have a love-hate relationship with my experience so far. I bought this game on PC, and I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts first on the game, then the whole PC experience where those with consoles can time out. Now, I'm a big FPS fan, and I'm also a big post-apocalyptic fan. So Metro Exodus hits a real fine sweet spot for me. First of all, Metro is so unique compared to other post-apocalyptic shooters on many levels, but let's start with the creatures. Its creatures are fantastic. I'm gonna do my best to explain without including any spoilers. So we've all seen these humanimals. Let's begin with them. They're downright creepy. When they're not creeping about on all fours like apes, they can be seen doing this. I was quite shocked to see this, and it just gave me the creeps. Like, what are they doing? Are they sleeping? Did their brain shut off? Not to mention the fact that they play dead or hide up against the walls to ambush you. So while they're not quite human, they do seem to be intelligent, and they also use debris as weapons and attack in packs, which can be pretty overwhelming. I think they're brilliantly designed, and especially compared to something like the ghouls in the Fallout series, it's nice to see 4A throw something different at us. Then of course there's the demon. Monstrous winged creatures that will grab you and carry you into the air and drop you to your death. These were in the previous games as well, but they're still terrifying, especially for those who don't like heights. You've always got to be wary and keep an eye on your surroundings. I won't talk about the other creatures because I would rather you guys explore them for yourselves. I don't like including spoilers because I hate when things are spoiled for me, so let's move on. The environments are some of the most detailed and interesting of any game I've played. 4A sure did a fine job of making this as immersive an experience as possible. Between every level, you get to wander the train and interact with the others and engage in minor activities. Have heartwarming moments with Anna, smoke and drink, play guitar for the other passengers, and a few other things.
Come on, pick the guitar up.
While this may seem minor, it's actually done quite well. It brings a whole other level of immersion to the game. Everyone is off doing their own things, and they even do the same thing during each level or map you visit. There are some maps where your companions might be out scouting or exploring different areas and so on. Another game that I can think of that did this was Red Dead Redemption 2, and I think it's a real nice step forward for games. It adds some human elements to each character. The character development in this game is spot on, and again, the only game that compares is Red Dead Redemption 2. There are few games that actually make you feel close to many different characters, and in Metro you learn and know enough about all the people in your group to actually have feelings about them. It's amazing how truly immersive this game is, and I'm glad games are starting to focus more and more on these smaller details, though I felt some of the acting in the game ruined the level of immersion at certain points. It wasn't too terrible, but some scenes, they just seem like they're being acted out, like in front of you, especially when it comes to the combat scenes. So let's move on to combat. Much like the previous games, you have to add and remove your gas masks at certain moments. You have to patch it if it gets cracked during a fight, and you can wipe the gas mask. Also, you have a flashlight that you have to hand charge from time to time. Your guns need to be cleaned regularly and can jam if you don't clean them. I mean, the level of detail is phenomenal. And like I said, the detail and the graphics are stunning. It actually turned me a bit sour being a PC player because it proved that I need a better rig, but I'll get into that. The gunplay itself is stellar. You don't get many guns compared to other games, but you do get some unique guns and they're a lot of fun to use. The shooting feels pretty good and the impact does seem quite real. And of course I absolutely love the customization options. Everything from barrels to scopes, magazines and frames, and even more. There's so much you can do for your gun. It's all noticeable in the game too. Aside from performance, it also shows visually. Though I do wish there were more guns and gear options, but for the length of the game and considering the many customizable options you get, the lack of guns aren't really a big deal. Now, the levels and environments. For the sake of spoilers, though they're very minor, I'm only going to discuss the desert, which everybody knows about by now. The desert was actually a great environment despite being a barren wasteland of sand. And I got some of the best screenshots in this level, especially when the sun is first coming up and sand is blowing. The orange glow is just stunning. The desert is overrun by bandits, and the bandits also have a leader, and he occasionally makes radio announcements that you can listen to.
Everyone, the Baron is about to speak. Listen up, everyone. The Baron is speaking. Gentlemen, there is deep news of some traveling gang on a train invading our territory. This is unusual, since as far as I remember, we did a pretty good job of teaching the neighbors that actions like this end up costing them.
Which he often makes remarks about the stuff you're doing and the trouble you're causing, and it's actually quite humorous. But it's also a nice touch of immersion and allows you to see things from their perspective. Where you might have thought you were doing the right thing and you're doing them for a good reason, when you hear about what they're seeing and how they see it, it makes you think like, wow, I'm kind of a dick. The bandits and other human enemies also seem more human than what you would see in other games. I thought it was pretty neat that if they notice you, they will all start attacking, but if they lose sight of you, say in the dark, they will start searching for you and maintain a patrol. Unlike other games where enemies just go back to sitting idle or whatever they were doing before. They'll call out to each other and talk trash to Artyom as they slowly, carefully move around in search of you. Another cool detail is that when you eliminate almost everyone, the remaining enemies will admit defeat and lay down their weapons. They'll ask you to spare them, and then you're left with the choice to either knock them out, kill them, or just leave them be. On my playthrough, I would try to resort to violence on humans as little as possible because I wanted the better ending, which I think I got, but to avoid spoilers for the other possible ending, I refuse to look. Also, your companions and enemies will react to your decisions. Now, if you're looking for an open world game, or rather, perhaps you're looking for a more linear experience like the classic Metro games, let me tell you, it's a goddamn perfect blend of the two. The worlds are open, but small, and there's empty buildings to explore, some are overrun by enemies, and there are also small confined areas and underground interiors as well. While it's different than what the old games have done, it's a great direction for the series in my opinion. After all, what is a post-apocalypse if you're always confined underground? I enjoyed the diversity of locations. So before we move on to the whole PC epic thing, I do want to discuss difficulty. Before I played, I knew the game was going to be too easy, so I played on a harder difficulty and it was a bit tough. I didn't die a lot or anything, but the AI did seem to be pretty intelligent. I took a bit of damage quite quickly, and I was often running out of ammunition. I thought it was a good level of difficulty, so I do recommend playing on a harder difficulty if you like a good challenge, or at least somewhat of a challenge. I think I played on the difficulty below the hardest difficulty. The story was pretty decent, heartwarming, suspenseful, horrific, exciting. You wind up with a pretty mixed bag of emotions throughout the game. Though I will say the main point of the game was to discover a suitable location to settle, so there wasn't really any mystery to solve, which isn't a big deal, but it is one thing that usually keeps me going, and that I've heard from other people as well. Luckily though, the gameplay is quite engaging and kept me entertained enough to keep progressing. So overall, yes, Metro is one of the most immersive experiences ever, and truly one of the best single player shooters to date. I highly recommend it, but
Take a seat, Bandit. Let's have some tea.
console players, you can now tune out if you'd like. PC. Unfortunately, I did not pre-order this on Steam, and I was too impatient, but also willing to give the Epic Store a try. Now, the Epic Store and launcher are just terrible as of right now. My biggest gripe, though it may seem small, is that I'm an achievements kind of guy. I love to be challenged and to be rewarded for said challenges. The Epic Store does not support achievements. Also, there's no way to review games or see reviews, no community for questions and troubleshooting, rating or discussion like on Steam, no FPS counter directly through Epic, no cloud saves, no screenshot capability, and no way to trade with other players. Not to mention there are concerns for security. Now, yes, some of these reasons sound very picky, and sure, they are. I'm not saying don't purchase through Epic, but in its current state, it does not compare to Steam. If you don't mind the above mentioned issues and care more about supporting the developers, absolutely buy through Epic. Otherwise, if you have the patience and self-control that I lack, I highly recommend waiting for the Steam release, which bums me to say because I do believe the developers deserve more money for their talent. But the Epic Store it's just terrible. I also felt like it took a lot longer to download through Epic, and maybe I'm missing something, but I've only found like maybe 20 games all together on the Epic Store. But anyway, thanks for watching. Please let me know whether you liked the video or not. Like, comment, and subscribe. Constructive criticism is seriously appreciated, as I plan on doing more gaming related videos in the future. If you have any suggestions, drop them below. Otherwise, much love and peace.